Last season, obviously, the takeoff for me with Kyle Lavin.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely unbelievable to watch him grow. I remember seeing him very early on and thinking, this kid's a bit raw. To at the end of the season, thinking, just give him the ball because he will score goals. You know, and watching him grow up last year was fantastic.
Yeah.
He was certainly one for me. Carlos Rivas have said to you before, he making sure he gives me a few more grey hairs, because this is someone who hasn't kicking little men off there. He's another one. If you can get him right, he's another player that really shone last year. The two in the middle, the two tigers in the middle.
Just
fantastic takeaway. So that's a great basis to build.
Yes, it is.
To build going forward, and you look at that and you think, okay, just missed out on the playoffs.
Yeah.
But learned a lot and had some really, really good moments throughout the season. Showed Galaxy at home 4-0, things like that. These kind of where you're putting the marker out and saying, okay, we haven't done what we wanted to do this year, but we've shown in flashes that we are a good side.
No, I think you're absolutely right, and I think for me it came home. The Galaxy 4-0 is one of those results that stands out. But that little run at the end of the year when we won 5 out of 6, when we needed to win them, that was the other key point. Like, it wasn't a run in the middle of the season where you don't know what's on the line. This was the last 6 games of the season where we knew we had to win back to back to back. We had to beat Montreal at home. We had to win those games.
Chicago away.
That's right. New York.
Games like that.
Exactly. And so those games where we won the game that mattered, and I think that gave the players a lot of confidence that they could beat anybody in the league on their day. Yeah. And what they're going to do is play up to that level every day. And to be fair to Adrian and the coaching staff, we probably had by a good mark, Baz, by a good way, the youngest starting roster, or the youngest starting team in the league, week in, week out. Yeah. You think about Rafa, 19, 20 years of age. This year we started Tommy Redding, 19 years of age. You talk about Agita and Seren. I think Agita's 21, right? Rivas, 20. Yeah. Kyle Lavin, 20. So you're starting a really young core of players, but we have belief in them, their quality, and they'll only get better from that experience. So I'm really excited about 16.
Coming into this season, and that was last year, like you say, excellent. For me, it was an excellent first season. Yeah, of course, it would be lovely to get into the playoffs, and you never know what happens when you're in a competition.
Look at Portland.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they were one going with San Jose last year. It was them or San Jose.
And they went in on a roll. They went in on a roll. They kept that roll going. Yeah. And eventually come out champions.
That's exactly right. And they were all about shape, weren't they? And, different things. So that shows you what can happen and how important it is. Coming into this season, we've got all of those bases, brought some new players in as well. What is it? Is it playoffs this year? That's what we're looking for, aren't we? Playoffs.
Oh, it is. It is. The goal remains the same, and we had the same goal last year. It's the same goal this year. The playoffs is the goal, and I think this year we're in experience-wise, quality-wise, depth, because that's important in MLS. People don't, if you don't follow the MLS regularly, and hopefully you do, and you're getting into it. But if you do, you realise that you need that depth. You've got to have bench strength. Yeah. It's the players that come in off the bench at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 that are really important to you, because you're going to need them at some point in the season. And sometimes you're going to need them for good lengths of time. Yeah. So we've improved our bench strength. We've got deeper. We've got more experienced. We've brought some more experienced players in. Yeah. The likes of Kevin Alston, which we didn't really have a challenger or a backup to Rafa last year. Chicharito, who's made a big contribution off the field so far in training around the squad. He isn't quite there yet with his fitness levels, but I expect that Antonio will be a big add this year in 16. So, we've improved all around, and we need to do that. So, I think with that in place, and we, as you said, we keep people healthy, and we don't get as many people sent off as we had last year, which because we were hurting ourselves. Let's be honest. Yeah. We played whatever it was, 7 or 8 games with 10 men. So
some were justified, but some were ridiculous ones as well.
Yeah, there were, but you can't do that consistently and then to get there. So this year the same goal. Let's get to the playoffs.
Definitely. I mean, I look at it already. We sat here, we just won 1-0 at New York City. A couple of draws in the opening 2. Real Salt Lake home. was a bit frustrating, but it was a fantastic finish, and that gives you that exactly. So that gives you that boost, doesn't it? Because you come, you're losing the game with a minute to go. Chicago at home was frustrating.
Yes, it was.
That threw many things around my living room.
But to be fair to Chicago, Baz, is they were very well organised. They were very well drilled. They were well disciplined. They held the shape really, really well. With a Cam and the likes of players like that, they were always dangerous on the break. Yeah. So they sat in well and they frustrated and defended well. And we should have had a penalty the last 2 minutes. I mean, and the defenders dragged Laren down
as well, didn't he? Yeah. I mean, I'd watched Chicago the week before and they were all over the place. So the work they've done within that short space of time to tighten up was fantastic.
And go back to the Real Salt Lake game, and we talked about this internally too. If you remember, we scored what's a perfectly good goal in 6 minutes.
Back heel, right?
And I think if that goal stands, which it should have done, because it wasn't offside, if that goal stands, I think we're going to win that game 3-0.
It changes
the whole dynamic.
They've had a decent start, though.
Yeah, they've done all right actually. They're one of the teams this year that surprised me. They've started well. I'm pleased with Jeff, because Jeff Cassarza is a good guy.
Good. So going at 5 points so far in the opening out of 9. Great win at New York City. I mean, just talking about learning, from one season to the last year was the 5-3. Yeah, you get a free kick.
What could have been the 4-4
exactly.
turned out to be the 5-3.
It's the free kick which hits the post
yeah.
and they break in, and they were brilliant on the counter attack and finished it off. The other night, closing spaces down, I texted that night about how impressed I was with the likes of them. And that to me, having obviously Seren and Higuita back together in the middle, because Pirlo had been out of this world the week before, hadn't he? So therefore, just closing that space down. And there was only really, they got in a few times and then the keeper stood big. The keeper's earned his call.
The show did really, really well.
So that must give confidence to go away to win, score early and be able to hold on.
What was it, 80 minutes?
85 minutes, wasn't it, with the stoppage time. So that's a massive boost going into the international. There's a break now.
It is. And, the break is coming at a good time for us, I think, because we need... we need to get Kaka back on the field, which he's very, very close. The extra 2 weeks will help. We've got a couple of niggly knocks, like to Kyle and to Antonio. So just gives a chance to work on some things, get people ready, and then because we've got the reigning champions coming in 2 weeks' time.
So that should be
a big game.
Is Kaka close? Is he?
Yeah. He's got a little thigh strain, which he unfortunately. I mean, he was devastated. He did it about 2 days before the opening game. Desperately wanted to play in that game, in front of 60,000 again and enjoy it. But no, he's got a niggly little thigh strain, which he probably was close, Baz, to be honest, to playing in New York. But with the 2 week break coming up, our view was, no, let's not risk anything. He's got 2 more weeks to recuperate. He's getting ready for Portland, and I'm sure he'll play against Portland.
That's it. I mean, obviously, you want your best players on the pitch. He brings an extra 10% to it in terms of, it's not always about his ability still is fantastic. You've seen it live as players, but the experience and the fact is when he's on the pitch,
his leadership,
and other people have to take notice of him, and then that frees up space, obviously.
Because he's Rawlins, and he's often, he's often double teamed, he's often double marked. I mean, it just creates that ability to create space, do something a little special, a little different. And I think, he started to develop a really good relationship with Kevin Molino. And they haven't played together as a unit since last May. And then towards the back end of the year, he really started to develop a very good understanding with Kyle. And, I'm looking forward to seeing those three on the field together as an attacking three. It's going to be really interesting what they can do.
Molino is an exciting one, isn't he? He's a back at six. You look at him and you know that he's just once he's back up to it, then he's going to be spot on. He should, Kevin, if you're watching, and he'll make sure you watch. He should have scored. Make it 2-0 the other night.
Shoot,
just shoot more. But he's shot machine it, didn't he? The week before, he's had a couple of lasers that game to keep his push wide.
No, he's Kevin's a very, very exciting.
He's a massive miss last season, wasn't he?
Very
early on. So so going forward, obviously playoffs. Just before we do that, I know I've asked you this before, but for anyone watching this who's not seen it, what's it like having Kaka at the club? I know it's a lot bigger than Kaka, obviously, but it's great to have someone with that profile. His profile is incredible, isn't it? So what's it like to have someone like that at your club?
I think I would answer it from really three perspectives, because there's three different ways three different lenses really with Kaka.
Yeah.
First of all, it's what you just said. It's the profile he brings, social media profile. His reach. I know what it is now. Is 70 million followers, whatever it is, on Twitter and Facebook, and it's ridiculous. I mean, whenever he puts something out there, the world knows about it and follows you. So the way he's raised that profile.
Tweet about me.
Yeah.
Or us.
The MLS show.
Yeah. Even just one tweet.
Yeah. Go on, Ricky, you can do it.
Do on me.
But he gives us that profile on a global stage that very few players in the world can give you.
Mm.
So that's one aspect of it. But the other aspects are him as a person. The second part is he's just a really humble guy. He's a very normal human being to be around and a great guy to be around. And he was a great pick for us as a designated player because I think he typifies, he exemplifies our culture and what Orlando City is all about. So he's been fantastic off the field. And then the third piece related to that is, it's his leadership and his mentorship of the younger players. He's a great role model. I mean, he's the first one into training. He's the first one in the gym. He's the last one to leave training. He's the last one out of the gym. He's the guy who stays after training to do extra work. So he's just sets a great example for those young professionals around him as to what it takes to be the best in the game. And that's kind of priceless, really.
Definitely. I mean, obviously, you're a young player and you're playing at Kaka. It's incredible.
It's a
training
dream.
with him.
Yeah.
I was shaking to meet him, to be honest, because there's not many players. I've met quite a lot of players, but he's one of those where you look and you go, wow, this is
and
guy,
you met him, a very humble, very warm, a very down to earth guy.
So what a player to have.
Yeah, it's great.
So moving forward, obviously playoffs.
Yep.
Can I ask you about Chicharito?
Yeah,
because there's been obviously. I know we've had a conversation about it, but there's been stuff over here about it keeps bubbling, even though he's at Leverkusen and he's tearing it up at Leverkusen. I seen a story surface again about 3 weeks ago. They were asking, I think it was just how close were you?
Yeah.
Was it a real genuine attempt to get him? Or?
It was.
Yeah.
No, it was.
Yeah. Did it look like it may happen, or
there was a period of time when I think it was a very distinct possibility that we could get him. The issue was. Quite simply, the issue was the money he wanted, or his agent wanted, and what we could afford and what we thought was reasonable for him.
Yeah.
And I think, to be fair, it wasn't just Orlando City. There was a number of top quality teams in for him, but we were one of them. And we met with him and we met with his representatives when he came over to Orlando. The Mexico national team played a game there. Yeah. So he was there in town. We met with him. We met with his representatives on several occasions. And we got pretty close, and at the end of the day, we just couldn't match what he was looking for.
Yeah.
And I think, I think he's proved, hasn't he, this season? He's a great goal scorer. Yeah. We saw him not only as a great goal scorer, but in a way, very Kaka-like. His reach, his marking ability, the presence he has, particularly with, obviously, with the Central American marketplace, the Mexican marketplace, would have been huge, and just quality goal scorers. So it was a genuine attempt, and we got very close.
I mean, it's fantastic to be in for those kind of players, especially when you see him, doing what he's done this season.
Great year.
Is that the kind of player that? Listen, every player is different, and sometimes opportunities present themselves, and you want to take them. But is that how you see Orlando developing, being able to go after these kind of players obviously within reason?
I think. What we've done and what's made us successful to this point, and particularly in the minor leagues, is Adrian has a philosophy about the way he wants to play. Yeah. Our style of play, I think, if you watch us play and hopefully you've been out to a game, our style of play is very exciting. It's very possession oriented. It's attack minded. We get the ball down, we play. I've just seen some stats that show we've had more possession in the final third than any other team in MLS in the first 3 games. So, the way we play and our style of play is pretty much set. Yeah. And how we want to play the game is we've got down. Therefore, when you come into players, you're really looking at players that can fit into that system and can add value in that system. So for me and for the organisation, it's not about the name of the player or the level of the player. Right. It's more about can that player do a job for us can they fit into the system we want to play? And sometimes that's going to be a player like a Christian Higuita that no one's really heard about before, but we think's a tremendous potential and a young player. Other times it's going to be a player like Chicharito, who's done it and been there and had a great career in Italy, and he's bringing that experience. He's 30, great time to come to the league, I think, at that age and bring all that experience with him to play out the next few years.
And it's blending, isn't it? So obviously, he's got that experience. You're blending in with Higuita and Seven, who are obviously a lot younger. To produce, that's sometimes, well, that is the best team. You've got the experience with the youth, and if you get that right, who can stop you? Going forward, then, obviously, away from the pitch, the key is obviously to win. Supporter Shield and MLS Cup, that'll be lovely. As you go forward, what's the long-term aim of Orlando City? Do you want this to be a club that is, because listen, it is recognised around the world now. Yeah. So is that the aim to be as big as you can possibly be, or you're not looking at it from that perspective?
No, it's not. It's not about size per se. It's not about being big for being big's sake. Yeah, it's a couple of things. First of all, we're a very, very community-oriented club. You've seen that when you get over. We're a very community-oriented club. We're a very family-oriented club. The players love playing for the club. People love working at the club. It's got a presence about it. It's got a culture about it, which I'm very proud of, and I think everybody who works at the club is proud of. And we want to maintain that and build on that. So at our core and our heart, that's what we are. We're very community-oriented, and we're very fan-oriented, to be honest. But in addition to that, not taking anything away from that, and in addition to that, we've taken what's the biggest game in the world, and Orlando is the most visited city in the world. Last year, we had 64 million visitors, right, from all over the world, including you, Baz, right, and the family. Exactly. And a lot of those people, like yourself, they're coming from countries where football, soccer is the passion, it's the game. And we can be everybody's second favourite team, right? Yeah. Because we're in the most visited city in the world. So why don't we tap into that? Yeah. Let's utilise that. Let's grow our brand. It helps us from a revenue standpoint. It makes the club stronger. It helps us with our recognition around the world, our awareness. It helps bring players, right? Because they're following us, they see us, they see the interest, they feel the buzz around the place. So it's a win-win-win for our community-based club, right, to be on a world stage and doing well on a world stage. So our future is to continue those two strategies and do the very best we can do on both levels, both locally and internationally too.
Fantastic stuff, Orlando. Big insight from Phil. He's making sure he gives me a few more grey hairs, because this is someone who hasn't kicking little men off there. He's another one. If you can get him right, he's another player that really shone last year. The two in the middle, the two tigers in the middle. Just fantastic takeaway. So that's a great basis to build. Yes, it is. To build going forward. And you look at that and you think, okay, just missed out on the playoffs. Yeah. But learned a lot and had some really, really good moments throughout
the season where you don't know what's on the line. This was the last 6 games of the season where we knew we had to win back to back to back. We had to beat Montreal at home. We had to win those games.
Chicago away.
That's right. New York.
Games like that.
Exactly. And so those games where we won the game that mattered, and I think that gave the players a lot of confidence that they could beat anybody in the league on their day. Yeah. And what they're going to do is play up to that level every day. And to be fair to Adrian and the coaching staff, we probably had by a good mark, by a good way, the youngest starting roster, or the youngest starting team in the league, week in, week out. Yeah. You think about Rafa, 19, 20 years of age. This year we started Tommy Redding, 19 years of age. You talk about Higuita and Seren. I think Higuita's 21, right? Rivas 20. Yeah. Kyle Larin 20. So you're starting.
Last season, obviously, the takeoff for me with Kyle Larin. Yeah. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. To watch him grow, I remember seeing him very early on and thinking, this kid's a bit raw. To at the end of the season thinking, just give him the ball because he will score goals. And watching him grow up last year was fantastic. Yeah. He was certainly one for me. Carlos Rivas have said to you before, he asked me, season showed Galaxy at home 4-0, things like that. You know, these kind of, where you're putting the marker out and saying, okay, we haven't done what we wanted to do this year, but we've shown in flashes that we are a good side.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And you know, I think for me, it came home. The Galaxy 4-0 is one of those results that stands out. But that little run at the end of the year when we won 5 out of 6, when we needed to win them, that was the other key point. Like, it wasn't a run in the middle